Welcome to another exciting edition of Sports Pizza. My name is Edwin Onyepolise. I'm sure your weekend was great and your week has started on a fantastic footing. Talking about weekend, we saw the highly anticipated Southwest Derby. Remo Stars were visitors at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, and Sporting Lagos, the host. The game ended 4-1, and Sporting Lagos, yes, got their revenge over Remo Stars. We also saw a couple of games in the Nigerian Professional Football League. And it wasn't without controversy, the game between Enyimba and Doma United, and also Rivers United versus Kano Pillars. Away from football, let's tell you that in Saudi Arabia, we saw the Formula One Grand Prix. That's the Saudi Grand Prix. And guess what? As expected, it's Mad Max Verstappen who romped to victory. Still with Saudi Arabia, we saw the highly anticipated fight. It was Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. And guess what? Yes, Anthony Joshua with a second round knockout. In football, European football precisely, we saw some nice, exciting, interesting games at Anfield. Yes, Liverpool won, Manchester City won. All of this will form the basis of our discussion on the show today. Talking about I'm not alone in the building. Of course, I have David. I'll be getting David on board when we come back from this break. It is Sports Pizza. Don't change the dial. Yes, let's talk about the game briefly. For Sporting Lagos, it was a huge win, not just the goal, but also the performance, and it should be a springboard for them.
So I think it's a good one for Sporting Lagos. One thing they've shown to us over the course of this season is that home form is going to be a reliable source of points for them. They've not been very good away from. I think they've not gotten a win away from home, but at home they've gotten some very decent results. So I think it's something they can build on for this season and then even going forward as a club in the NPFL.
And for Remo Stars, yes, they still have hopes of winning the league title, but it's a rude awakening for them. That you have to be at your best. Yeah. Maybe they got emotional, the atmosphere, and they just got sucked into it and forgot how to do the basics. But a team that has the nose, has the experience to win the title is Enyimba, current defending champions. But the game wasn't without controversy. They scored a goal. The assistant referee signaled for something like an infringement. The referee cancelled it, went back to consult with the broadcasters of the game, reviewed the goal, came back, blew the whistle. Doma United insisted they were not coming back. The referee continued the time. When it was up, he blew for final whistle. I know the NPFL will sanction whoever erred in this particular game. But while we're counting the gains of the Southwest Derby, this is not a good advertisement for the NPFL. Absolutely.
So I think somebody said once in over the social media, I said if you sit down and they explain the NPFL to and you understand it at first take, then you are a genius. But so there's a lot of drama. These are we take one step forward and we take a few steps back again. So I don't think a lot of things are not working the way it should. Controversies, refereeing decisions, and these are some of the basics that should just serve as, this foundation of a league. But we celebrate the things that should be basics, and then the things that should actually work, we don't get them right. So I think it's a long way to go for us.
Also, there was controversy in the Rivers United versus Kano Pillars game. If you saw that goal, it was a clear infringement on the Kano Pillars goalkeeper. I don't know what the referee saw, I don't know what his assistant referee saw, but the goal stood and Rivers United salvaged a point. In other games in the NPFL, Bendon Insurance defeated Gombe United by 2-0. Castina United versus Heartland game ended 1-1. Sunshine Stars defeated Plateau United 3-1. Bayelsa United lost to Niger Tornadoes at home by 0-1. Abia Warriors and Lobby Stars played out an entertaining 1-1 draw. Rangers versus Kwara United ended in a goalless draw, while Shooting Stars defeated Aqua United by 3 unreplied goal. Before we leave the home scene, David, what did you make of the NFF throwing open the vacant seat of the Super Eagles coaching department?
To make light of the whole matter, popular, job portals in Nigeria, Job Man, and some of the other popular ones actually puts the vacancy on their website.
Ridiculous.
That's a ridiculous situation. The Super Eagles of Nigeria. That's like, somebody compared it to like a top multinational, CEO position. Then you now advertise. You don't see such adverts on newspapers or in the public domain. This is something you should have. Headhunting. I think it was the German national team when they wanted to get a coach. They have already structured the headhunter. You have your criteria, somebody you want, and then you go out and you select shortlist candidates and interview them silently and announce your candidates. So I don't think this is how we are supposed to go moving forward. I think Super Eagles and the NFF, they need to work better.
I keep saying it, the day we understand that sports is business, it's big business, we'll take serious branding, we'll take serious PR. The Super Eagles of Nigeria is arguably the biggest footballing nation in Africa. Yes, Egypt have 7 African Cup of Nations titles, but in terms of stars that have been produced pound for pound, Nigeria, Egypt, or Nigeria, Cameroon, or Nigeria, Ghana, none of these countries come close. It is sad and unfortunate that our administrators haven't gotten a hold or a grasp of what it means to market the brand that is the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Away from that, David, we have Nigerian players playing abroad, flying the flag, hoisting the flag of our dear great country, Nigeria. Can you give us a couple of these players who, over the weekend, did some very good stuff?
We have Gabriel Osho of Luton Town. They played a 1-1 draw against Crystal Palace, who is enjoying a new manager bounce under Oliver Glasner. But, in the heart of defense with Mengi, he has been very solid, 18 appearances over the course of this season. And then, to cap it off, he has gotten an invitation to the latest squad for the internationals for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So I think it's a good one for him. He has been very decent this season for Luton Town. And if you have any chance of, staying in the Premier League, it's going to be very crucial to that. Also, we have Michael Folorunso, Italian-Nigerian. I think Paletti has had a look at him over the course of this season, and he has an eye for the spectacular. He won the Serie A goal of the month for February, and he's a midfielder, top tackle, a giant in midfield, 6'3" in height, and he will provide options for us in midfield. Considering the fact that in our the latest squad, we have only 5 midfielders again in our squad, so I think it's a good option. We also have Noah Atubolu of Freiburg, ever present for them in the Europa League run and even in the Bundesliga. A fantastic goalkeeper, 6'3" in goal, and he has the size and the presence. I don't think he has a chance for Germany because Germans have stopped him. So opportunity for him to get the call up to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And then we also have Ato Okonkwo of Arsenal on loan at Wrexham in League 2. Wrexham we have been on a Hollywood run, owned by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, and I think he has been very decent at 21 years of age. For a youngster, he has shown that he has calmness and composure. The Arsenal school has produced goalkeepers like Emi Martinez.
You have to stick Arsenal in.
And yeah, so it's a benefit for Nigeria at the end of the day. And the fact that he has switched his allegiance, FIFA has approved his allegiance switch from England to Nigeria, so it's an option for us in goalkeeping department. Then last but not the least, we have Tolu Arokudare, somebody I followed over the course of his career, from box to box FC in the Lagos regional leagues in Nigeria. He went to Latvia, Valmeria, was banging in the goals. Then he got his big break to Cologne in Germany, but he struggled. He was very poor there. Then he, struggled, found his way to Amiens in Ligue 2 in France, became consistent. And now he's in Belgium, Genk. He was a replacement for Paul Onuachu. Also a big striker in that mood, but, he has a good touch. And he'll be an option for us in attack as well. So those are the guys that actually made some performance over the weekend. All
right, this is a new segment we'll be bringing for your viewing pleasures. We'll take in a recap of Nigerian players playing abroad. Before we go on the break, quickly in the world of Formula One, it was Mad Max Verstappen at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. They've put aside all of the controversies in the Red Bull house, but the focus is on the track. And once again, it was 1-2 for Red Bull, Mad Max Verstappen, and Sergio Perez, with Charles Leclerc finishing third.
Yeah, I think you said this a few weeks ago that the real entertainment now will be the lower rungs of the drivers standing at the constructors stand, because top two, they keep, how long will we continue like this? 1 and 2 every season, so it becomes a challenge for the rest of the field. But I think the greatest positive was Oliver Newman of Ferrari, replacing Carlos Sainz over the course of it, and he came 7th, and that's for his first race in Formula 1. That's 18
years.
Yeah, 18 years old.
The third youngest driver, F1 history, the youngest British driver in Formula 1 history.
Yeah, so it's a bright future for him. Hopefully he can, capitalize on it and become a regular on the Formula 1 scene.
Still in Saudi Arabia, this time we're switching the track for the ring.
Yeah.
It was expected.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury made Ngannou look world class. Yeah. But Anthony Joshua sent him a reminder that, hey, this is boxing. This is not MMA. Yeah. You stick with the rules of boxing, you get knocked out.
Yeah, so I think Anthony Joshua showed us what Tyson Fury should have shown. So it's now obvious that Tyson Fury was not prepared for that fight. And he took it, with levity. And I think Joshua said before the fight that he actually saw it as a gimmick at the first instance. But when he saw the fight against Fury, he said, okay, yeah, there's something there. I think I need to hold on to the reputation of boxing. He felt like it was him boxing against the rest of the world. So I think he did what needed to be done. And I think Joshua is on a run now. I think this is the first time since, after, he came through the Olympics, gold medal, rose to the top, and then he had to, fall back down to earth. And now it seems like he's trying to rebuild his career. And this second phase of Joshua seems like a more determined fighter. So
for boxing fans, what do you want? Is it Joshua versus Fury or Usyk versus Fury? Usyk Fury will give us the first unification bout since the early 2000s, where Lennox Lewis became the first man to unify all 3 belts in the heavyweight division. Let's go on a break. When we come back, there's still more on Sports Pizza. Remember to follow our social media handles. It is at Sports Pizza. Welcome back. It's still Sports Pizza. Edwin and David in the building. David, let's switch focus to European football. This time we'll be heading to Anfield. It was a huge clash. It was a top of the table clash, even though Arsenal 24 hours before had gotten victory against Brentford. We'll get to that shortly. But for Liverpool and Manchester City, maybe this was the perfect result.
So I think these two managers, Klopp and Guardiola, over the course of their time in the Premier League, have shown that they are two of the very best. And the most interesting part is the clash of styles we get to see. And he's the only manager that has managed to actually take Guardiola to a level where he has not experienced in a long time. So I think it's a good one for us to see a good game and a good result at the end of the day.
Let's talk about the game itself. It was a Liverpool side that fielded a makeshift defense and a City attack that the last couple of weeks have been famed for putting teams to the sword. Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, there's Kevin De Bruyne in the mix. But when you look at the game, I don't know, I want to get your opinion. Which was more impressive from Liverpool's point of view? Keeping City at bay, or let me rephrase, keeping City's attack at bay, or overrunning City's midfield?
So I think it's overrunning City's midfield. That was the most. The fact that City at a point in time where they are backs to the wall completely in that game, they were
practically breaking
for counter-attack. It was. I've never seen. It's the only time I've seen City actually waiting for sitting back and going on the counter. So I think it was good to see. And the fact that Klopp actually made changes right from the get-go in the second half. They took the game to City and they got the penalty very early in the second half. And then from there, they started to pile the pressure with the support of the Anfield crowd. It felt like City were going to implode at points in that game. But credit to City also, they held on for as long as it took. And then with some decisions over the course of that game, I think the result was fair for both teams. Nobody wanted to lose.
Do you think Liverpool were denied the penalty right at the death?
So my first observation was that it was not a penalty. It was 50-50 at the point, but when with the benefit of VAR, I expected they could have gone back to check it, and that tackle anywhere on the field, it should have been a foul. So I think it was clearly a penalty and it was overlooked. I don't know why.
Let's talk Arsenal. Arsenal, like the popular saying on social media, the elephant is back at the top. I know you're grinning from ears to ears. You're an Arsenal fan, obviously. It was a hard-fought victory against Brentford. Kai Havertz scored in 4 consecutive Premier League games, scored the winner this time around. What are the lessons, or what have you noticed from Arsenal this season and last season? Because it was at this point last season they started dropping points and that title ambition just faded off. But what are they getting right this season that they didn't get right last season?
So I think one thing that we have to factor in is the fact that the squad is bigger now. The fact that players like Thomas Partey and Zinchenko have been missing for a few weeks, and then Arsenal have still been able to grind results. Like you said, this was the point last season where the wheels completely came off, and then they lost the trail. But now the players are coming back, and then the squad, there's harmony, there's more mentality, there's more, unity. And Arteta has found, he said at the beginning of the season that he was trying to make Arsenal more unpredictable, not a certain style of play, not a certain. Last season you could practically name their starting 11, but this season It's either Trossard or Martinelli, or in midfield Jorginho or Rice, and there's options. And Arteta has learned from last season, and also the squad has learned from last season, and it's good for us to see.
Just 1 point separates the top three.
Yeah.
It's a very congested top three.
Yeah.
If my memory serves me right, this is the closest we've seen in the history of the Premier League era, where the top three are separated by just 1 point.
Yeah.
You look at the goals difference. Arsenal have a healthy goals difference. They've scored more goals. They've kept. They've considered the list, followed by Liverpool and Manchester City in third, with 10 games left. Still a couple of tricky ties. The next Premier League game, City will face Arsenal. Liverpool also have games against Manchester United. All three teams will face Spurs. How do you see this panning out? Who's going to get to the finish? I'm going to ask this question over the course of the week. But with 10 games left, from what we have seen, who will cross the finish line first?
Yeah, so there are key markers over the course of the rest of the season that were pointed out. The Brentford game was won. If Arsenal had dropped points in that Brentford game, they would have shot themselves in the foot and reduced their chances of. But the fact they got a victory puts them in a good position. And then the City game on the 31st of March is another key factor. Fine, it's going to be difficult to win at the Etihad. It's going to be almost practically, I can't remember last time Arsenal won at the Etihad. So I think it's going to be a difficult game. A draw in that game or a good result in that game will also put them in a driver's seat. So I think Arsenal have themselves in a good position. Probably not the driving seat, but a good position, neck on neck. Liverpool still have, some key fixtures. So I think it's still going to be neck on neck. This is the first time since 1920 when two or more teams have had more than 60 points at this point of the season. So I think this title race is still so difficult to call going to the end of the season.
They'll also win for Manchester United. They defeated Everton 2-0. But again, same of the same. Everton with 26 shots on goal against Manchester United. Aston Villa versus Spurs. The race for the top four, and Spurs, yes, got one over Aston Villa at Villa Park. Son Heung-min, 150 goals, is now joined 5th all-time top scorer for Tottenham Hotspur. In Spain, same of the same. Real Madrid put 4 past Celta Vigo. Vinicius Junior's 2 own goals, and Arda with his first in La Liga for Real Madrid.
Yeah, absolutely. So now it's not a procession at this point in time for Real Madrid. Just keep winning. It doesn't matter what their rivals do, Barcelona or Girona. It doesn't matter. Now it's Madrid's title. They are coasting to the title, and that's what we are going to see for the rest of the season. Real
Madrid are, in my opinion, champions in waiting.
Yeah.
You have Girona, who picked up a valuable win, second. Then Atletico Madrid, fourth. You have Barcelona, third. Athletic Club about breathing somewhere. Yeah. There's a key clash this weekend. It is Atletico Madrid at the Wanda Metropolitana hosting FC Barcelona. How do you see this panning out? I think this is a good opportunity for Atletico Madrid to get back to winning ways. Also try and put pressure on Barcelona for that third spot, because Athletic Club Bilbao are breathing down the neck.
So I think it should, on paper, look like a good chance for Athletic too. But over the course of the last few weeks, Atletico Madrid have gone off the rails. They've been dropping points unnecessarily, going to Almeria and drawing 2-2. That was a result that I never saw coming against a team that have not won a game this season in La Liga. So I think if they can put the acts together and get a result against Barcelona, a victory, I think this game they can win quite all right, because they've shown that against Barcelona they can raise their game and get results. So if they can get a result, they can push Athletic Bilbao away from breathing down their neck. So I think it's still a tight. I think the most important fight in the La Liga is the 4th and the 3rd position. Those 3 teams are going to fight for it to the end of the season.
All right, talking about fights, nothing of such in the Italian Serie A. Inter Milan are sweeping all and sundry. Bologna was the latest victim, and of course, Simeone Inzaghi's men made light work of Bologna. How far can they go? How much points can they amass? The most number of points in the history of the Italian Serie A, it was Antonio Conte's Juventus side, 102 points. Can Inter Milan match that? That's a question that we'll wait for the answer at the end of the season. That's the much we can take on the show today. I'm sure you had fun with us. I'm sure you took in all of the exciting analysis on Sports Pizza. You get it nowhere else but on Sports Pizza. We'll leave you with our video for the week. Do ensure that you follow us on our social media platforms. Also like and follow our YouTube page. From me, Edwin Onyebolise, do have a fantastic week.
Yeah, pleasure as always. Thank you for having me. Have a fantastic week, guys.
God bless you.